so much. I got a prediction.
All right. Let's hear it.
The next president of these United States will be a woman. This is not a joke. It won't be Hillary Clinton. And so you won't have no baggage. Won't be no baggage. It will be a woman that's going to come out, that's going to be powerful, and that this country has never seen. There's too much that's happening on the scene for it not to happen. You can watch the news every single day. There is something that is happening in this world that is detrimental to this world. The next president that you will see will be a woman.
With no baggage, you said.
With no baggage.
But they can have a purse, right?
Yeah, she can have a purse, but no baggage. Okay. I just want to say, in all seriousness, this Women's Federation for World Peace is awesome. You might not know this or not, but this is my second or third time attending one of these, invited by Carolyn. And this is just an awesome, awesome organization. Does great work around the world. And that's what we're all about. You very seldom hear this in the news. I wish we could have news that was good news. And that's what this is. This is good news. But we don't pay for good news. We pay for all the ugly news. But somebody needs to be getting behind this organization and spread the good news. And as we continue to spread the good news, good things happen.
That's it.
That's why my prediction will be true. Okay.
All right.
I am before you today tell a little short story about how I started Gresham Historical Artifacts. I started it some years ago. Didn't know I was starting it. I went to a bank in the city of Raleigh. I was 30-some years ago. And I was fresh, a year out of college, had worked a year, wanted to buy my wife a house. So I go to the bank and needed to borrow $3,000. Had saved $3,000, my wife and I. And so we go to the bank and they wanted to do a net worth. In other words, to see if I had any assets. So they began to ask me questions like, do you have any stock? I didn't know what a stock was. I thought they were talking about like being in the stockyard with the animals and all that. Then they asked me, Mr. Gresham, do you have any bonds? Bonds? I know them EE bonds. No, they're talking corporate bonds. They're talking about AAA bonds. No, sir. Don't have none of that. I mean, no, ma'am. Lady. So then she proceeded to ask me, Mr. Gresham, do you have any collectibles like art collection, stamp collection, coin collection? I said, no, ma'am. She said, Mr. Gresham, do you have an insurance policy? Oh, yes, ma'am. I sure do. She said, how much is it worth, Mr. Gresham? I said, $10,000. She said, Mr. Gresham, you are worth more dead than you are alive. She has just sunk my ego to the lowest point of my life at 26 years old. I'm hurting now. Got my wife right there, heard that? I got about teared up. I didn't have no inner peace. That thing hurt. But I left there because I did not get that loan. Because I didn't have anything to show worthy of security. So I left there. My wife said, hey, don't worry about $100, let's just go splurge. I said, okay. So we go to the beach. We go to the beach, you stay the whole weekend, we hang out. We come back, I said, honey, I got to get you down. I said, I got to figure out how to get this out. So I go to the loan company, me and her. My dad already told me, don't go to the loan company, baby, because the loan company will trick you. I said, I got to go to this loan company. Just told you I can't tell daddy. So I went to the loan company. I walk in there. I tell the guy, I said, I want to borrow $3,000. He said, what you got for collateral? I said, man, I'll tell you the truth. The only thing I got is 2 cars, a Donette set, and a bedroom suit. He said, I'll take it. He took that, leaned it against the loan, loaned me $3,000 at an interest rate of 32%. This was in 1980. Okay? I ain't care. I took it. I walked out of there. I had 3 years to pay that loan back. God helped me pay that loan back in 2 years. I paid it. Had a mortgage of $307 a month. After I paid the second mortgage, which was $110.65. As a result of that experience, I began to collect. And I specifically began to collect coins. Okay? Silver, to be specific. And I started collecting that because I said, I ain't going to never have nobody tell me I'm worth it. Oh, dear Lord. They ain't going to never tell me that. So, when my topic became discover the leader within, that was the ticket, Carol. I don't know if you know that or not. But that's the deal. So then from there to this day, I've been a collector. That's 30-some years. I'm 63 years old. I've been collecting ever since. And one particular day, I was collecting, and I didn't realize that there were African Americans on money, and wasn't that many African Americans on stamps at the time that I started. You had Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, Frederick Douglass, Salem Poor, Charles Drew, Ralph Bunche. Those are the individuals when I started out on African American stamps. Then after that, in 1978, they put out a stamp of the first African American woman, and that was Harriet Tubman. So Harriet Tubman's stamp is 41 years old this year, or 40 years old. The first woman to ever be placed on a stamp in the United States. I do the quilts that you see in the back and the coins and all that. The quilts there are for the purpose of teaching. Beside those quilts is a rack of cards. In those cards are actually questions relating to the quilts. So if you pick up the card, you read it, and you go to the quilt and find the answer. What I believe is that once you know who you are, then you know how great you are. Then you got a debt to pay for the greatness. Because we all stand on some powerful people's shoulders. So if you don't know your heritage, you will keep spinning. History is important. I teach it through money and stamps. All of the United States history is on this money and on stamps. Anything you want to find out about the U.S., they put it on the money. On the handout that I share with you, you'll see on there 2 quilts. I bought 3 quilts, but I got 13 quilts in total. Those are the list of the quilts. 2 of the quilts, you'll see slaves on Confederate money, slaves on currency in North Carolina and in Virginia. Those are slaves that have worked the vineyards. And so I have those quilts, and then somebody said, well, why did you do that? Because I want you to see that them folk weren't lazy. They worked in every vineyard. When you see these quilts, you'll see Raleigh, Durham. You'll see places that you're familiar with. And so, once you stand on those shoulders, it's not about being emotional and mad. It's about that you're a strong people, and because you are strong, you got to teach and continue to move your people forward. I believe that history itself helps us not to repeat the same kinds of things, because when you connect to that, you know when something happened that's not right, because you know the history. But if you didn't know the history, you don't know. You don't know if this ever happened. But the word says nothing under the sun that has not happened before. So that means what? History is important. And so, in closing, I say to you that learn your history, know it well, so that you won't continue to repeat things and not know that this has already been done, but because you didn't study it, you're bound to repeat it. My questions to you is, number one, why is history so important? And number two, how do you celebrate history?